Hey everyone, Sly47 here. Welcome to Commanders 301. What I wish I could be saying right now. I wish I could be saying it, but the current Commander talent system that was brought in with Update 7.4 has many issues and flaws within it. I know this video is late compared to others. I wanted answers, and I wanted to do some testing to see how these skills actually work. And with what data I've found and answers that I have, I wouldn't suggest putting any money or Commander XP into any skill above level 12 at this time. I actually had two scripts for this that riffed on them pretty hard, but decided to be the better person. I was going to rip into them how the system works way differently than what the patch notes were saying, that we got free XP after level 12 commanders, but now it's level 15 commanders. But okay, I digress. You get the whole thing. I think that's been talked about in general. But before I get into this too much, wargaming, the concept is amazing. Execution, not so great. Take this and expand on it. That's a good idea for our 1.1. The concept has been proven to be, hey, we like this idea, but it's just not quite there. We need a 2.0 for commanders, and I will be highlighting issues for the current skills and my philosophy of how I would move forward with it at the end. Now, I know a few CCs have already started suggesting buffs to these skills and ways to improve it, so this video may become irrelevant in the future, and I am a-okay with that. I really do believe that this has a lot of potential, but this also has a lot of issues, and we need to get the system just better, especially because we need to improve at wargaming. The changes to fix the current commander system as of update 7.4 starts with the grind. All of the skills have a looming problem just over it of 1.5 million commander XP required to get them. This is on top of the already long grind of 1.2 million-ish for the first 12 levels. You have 2.5x the grind with this update. That is way too much. The price of using money has tripled to finish a commander. If you use just straight bucks, it goes from 50 bucks to max commander-ish to nearly 150 bucks. I used to be a part of the crowd that used to be like, no, they need to cut it by like 30%, it would be good. But now with update 7.4 coming out, in the grand scheme of it, 30% would do nothing to the overall grind. We need at least a 50% decrease in commander XP in total. From what research I've done with doing polls and talking to many players, most players don't even have a level 10 commander. They really don't. So let's give people at least like a level 13 commander so they have more skills and more stuff to play with. Also, maybe go back and change some old skills. Now, of course, if you don't want to do the 50% decrease, maybe you could increase commander XP gain by 3 to 4 times, or help us get a lot more commander boosters out there in order to help out, which, FYI, always use a commander booster and a regular XP booster to get the most out of that commander XP booster and like that, because if you just put the commander XP boosters, doesn't really help all that much. But with a nice, like a purple or a gold XP booster with a commander booster, now you're starting to talk about some serious gains. Or even use the Blitz Royale idea that I have been pushing actually for a pretty long while here. I really think so. And for people who don't know, basically the top 10 receive a nice chunk of commander XP, and maybe that could be free commander XP, and that would be really kind of nice because that would be a way for us to gain it, give us a reason to play that entire game. So those changes alone will put all of these skills at least in a much better light if you do any form of those, because right now it's just such a long grind. Because some of these skills are so mediocre and the grind is so hard, they look just horrible. They just do. So let's talk to skills. Once again, I believe in the current update 7.4 setup, you should only use your extra free commander XP that you got from the actual update to get your commanders to level 11 or even 12, because those are substantially more important than most of these. And getting more commanders to level 11 or 12 is going to be much nicer than getting one commander up to level 15 because of just how much investment you're putting into that. Oh, okay, man. Now that we've got that done, all Preface done, out of the 21 new skills that you can see in this chart that I've created, which of course is up on Discord as well, 21 new skills, we have 7 good ones and 5 situational ones. Why are there so many bad ones, you might be wondering? Well, they happen to work like equipment, and percentile increase on top of a percentile mathematically sucks. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but let's quickly look at it. Like, this is a really good one. Tormentor. I like that. Tormentor's increase of fire chance does not give you an increase of percentage of 2% chance of causing fire with main battery and secondary or airstrikes. No, it gives you 2% of what your current percentage is. So for a level 15 skill, after 2 kill assists and 1.5 million commander XP into a commander, you get less than 0.5% increase on your fire chance. It's laughably bad. I'm sorry. It is laughably bad, but that's just the beginning of all of this. So let's get going through this, and we will be starting the blue tree, as it's one of the most simplest ones because there's so many bad abilities within it. So Frenziness, you take damage, become a stronger brawler. Yes, please. This is a great starting skill. Receive 30% of your total HP, get a little bit of reload and firing range increases on that. Just some nice buffs. This is great for your brawling or your heavy cruisers with secondaries. Frenziness, you're going to be going down more for the later skills than Frenziness alone, but it is definitely going to help on those brawling ships there. So sometimes you're going to take Frenziness and you might not even have secondaries to use, but it's the later skills that are what you want. Now moving on to the level 14 skills, we have Elementalist. This is exploit weakness, but just worse because you have to trigger it. It's not always on and such. So this is a just complete waste of time. Exploit weakness is generally actually a wasteful skill to actually use in general now, at least in the year of 2024. To me, either 4x it or make it something completely different. Protector, using a repair kit or damage kit 3 times, which actually surprisingly you'll use it pretty quickly on this one, and you'll get it. You'll actually get minus 2.5% damage from torpedoes and shells. This is basically just like Kuznetsov. Pair it with Kuznetsov at his highest ranks, and now you have 7.5% decrease on damage taken, which is phenomenal. Makes your ship a little bit tougher. That's why I would suggest taking it. You're going to trigger it fairly quickly and such, and just pairing it once again with Kuznetsov is going to be nutso. Next up, Resilience. This is a complete skip. This is the exact same issue as the equipment are in. So basically, percentile on top of a percentile gives you almost nothing. To me, Wargaming, in order to fix this skill, I would definitely just actually fix equipment and the logic there, and then just have that logic also apply to this one as well. Because right now, the equipment logic for reducing fire chance and flood chance is just straight up, it just doesn't work. It's negligible on that one. So yeah, if you can fix up the equipment, you can fix up resilience, and maybe it might be worth it in the end on that one. Now on to the level 15 skills. Armor Destroyer. The idea is great here. The idea, awesome. Love it. Another boost on top of APCS. But 1% main battery shell penetration or secondary battery penetration, because of how that works, you're only getting maybe 1 to 2 extra pen. So 1% of 100 AP pen is 1. That's really not that much, especially when you have 2 other skills that are arguably better, and one of those 2 other skills is God tier, and the reason why you'll be going down blue in the first place if you want something tankier. So to me, yeah, make this 2, 3, 4, maybe make this another APCS plus or something like that. Give us a reason to really utilize the skill, as it's pretty easy to trigger, but it also should be something that makes your AP just devastating when it hits. But yeah, the 1%, not enough. Last Stand. This is the God tier. This is the reason why you go down blue. Last Stand. Destroying one enemy ship while below 15% of your total HP lets you heal and do additional damage. That ends up being around nearly 30% of your health back when you are lower than 15% chance. This is having a better premium extra large St. Vincent heal on you when you kill someone at low health, which is key and critical to winning games. This will be those moments where you are just hyped when this thing triggers, because the enemy will be like, I'm gonna kill them, they're so almost dead, and then you will just be rising from the dead. And like that, man, cue up that music right there, basically. But yeah, no, the Last Stand, this is, if you want a tankier ship, you're going down blue, just straight down the middle, even if you don't have secondaries, just for Last Stand, because of how strong this skill is. I love that this is hard enough to get, but strong enough that when it happens, people won't even be mad about it. They'll just be like, crap, that was a good, like they killed me, or they killed someone else to trigger that skill, and they ended up winning the game. That was straight up skill. Little extra damage helps, but it's not really a crazy amount. 4%, not so much, especially only for 20 seconds, but Last Stand's the way to go on this one. All Out War, get Confederate and you get some reload decreases, but the rest have percentile increases. So basically you're only really doing it for the main battery reload, which there's other better trees for that in this case. So if you aren't going for Last Stand, I really don't see the point of going for All Out War. It's just kind of generic, but it does technically help if you want to make things a little bit better with a secondary ship, but not take Last Stand. Guess so. Now to the green tree. This is 35 main gun hits, you get 4% main battery turret traverse speed. How do I put this? 4% is not noticeable, Wargaming. This needs to be at least 10 or even just straight up 20.
What would you say you do here?
This is pathetically slow. Maybe make it where it's 4% on battle, or not on battleships, but 4% on DDs, 8% on cruisers, and 12% on battleships or something like that. Make it something like that. Just make it better, bigger. Realistically, unfortunately, for Green Tree, your level 13 skill, you're not going to notice it. You're going to take it just so you can get to the level 14 and 15 skills within the green one. It's just, yeah, it's a pathetic level 13 skill. It really is. For the level 14 skills, here's a situational one. We have the Specialist. Basically obtain First Strike medal, and in doing so, you get +1 usage of all of your ship's skills. To me, this is absolutely amazing. +1 on skills can make or break certain ships. And if you are not wanting the other good skill on this line and area, then Specialist might be an awesome one to take. This is very situational. I like it. It actually is currently bugged, so anyone that gets a First Strike medal, you actually end up getting +1 on your skills. That will probably eventually get fixed, but just an FYI on that one. Specialist, it's going to be a situational thing. If you don't want the other items or you can't trigger the other items, Specialist would be the way to go, because just getting additional skills and usages on that could help you win the game and really assist in doing a lot more damage. Or maybe you're going to add one radar and find another DD late in the game and win the game that way. So Specialist is the way to go. Armor Piercer, cause 35% of your max total HP, and you get +2% main battery penetration damage and bomb penetration damage. While easy to get, 2% more damage isn't that much, especially when we have Precision Strike right here. Precision Strike is better dispersion on bomb attacks and guns for doing only 18% of your max total health in fires and floods. If you are able to do the fires and floods with your ship, because 18% actually is not a crazy amount to do, I would rather have the additional precision than the additional damage that Armor Piercer brings. Armor Piercer, I think, needs a little bit more added buffs to it, maybe make it a little bit better. And I think it also only triggers on Citadels too. It's almost like an additional Citadel strike, if I'm remembering right. So Armor Piercer needs some buffs on that one, probably just increasing the total damage. So you basically go, hey, I already hit enough, I don't need the more precision type of idea. And then Precision Strike's the other way around. It's hey, I would like the precision, I don't need the damage type of idea. Have them both be that way, and then Specialist being there as just the situational one. But yeah, I would, if I were myself on a ship that I'm going down the green tree, it's basically, do I want the extra skills or do I want the more precision, because I can do the fire and flood. That's how I would choose them in the green tree. Now onto the level 15 skills. Sniper, 5 Citadels is hard to get, and while the buff is nuts, and if you haven't watched Boblin's video on showing that off with the Pietro and just what the main gun shell velocity does, go watch it. It's hilarious. To me, most of the time that you get this, the game will be over by the time you actually get it. This needs to be about 3 to 4 Citadels, in my opinion. And then on top of it, I have a problem with the skill, because if we don't make it something that you regularly get, you will forget about it, because obviously you don't have that many level 15 commanders. And because you forgot about it, when you do trigger it, guess what's going to happen? Well, now your shell velocity has changed. Your arc has changed. What does that equal? You might be hitting over or hitting the belt. Yes, this skill will actively harm you if you don't remember that you have it. Like the detection range is the best part about this, in my opinion. And the main battery shell velocity is a nice touch. But I think that, in my opinion, because of how it's 5 Citadels, they're hard enough to get. This is very situational. There's maybe 30-ish ships I would even consider putting this on. that get citadels regularly enough for me. To me, I can't remember the last time I even got over 5, unless it was basically me playing the MVR or something like that, which is a CV. So to me, sniper, it's a situational one. You might want it, you might not want it. Now, active reload. Generally, this is easy to get and the main one to get for most commanders that are wanting this. Better reload and better aircraft speed is huge for many different things. We saw what 5% does on the MVR, and this gives 4%. This is going to make an MVR nuts. I know some people will be like, why would you go down this tree for MVR? Just, who knows? Who knows? I like that. But the 2 buffs for surface ships, for the reload of the torpedoes and the main battery reload, to me, is great. Especially when you're going to be able to trigger it oh so often, because 30% of the enemy health is not really that a crazy amount. So active reload, in my opinion, is the most general one to pick. That's one of the better ones to pick out of this one. Whereas adaptive reload, getting a double strike typically means a few things. You've most likely defeated the flank, or you're now heading over to another flank in order to help out. So that max speed increase does kind of help. But to me, whenever I get a double strike, it's typically meaning that I'm now needing to reposition to help out. And for 20 seconds, I get great main battery reload time. And, you know, if you're a CV, the aircraft preparation time, to me, that 20 seconds isn't really going to change anything, because guess what? Maybe you've launched your fighters and or the bombers and dive bombers are coming back. So for that 20 seconds, the preparation time doesn't matter. As you can see, adaptive reload, I really don't like this. The skills for 20 seconds need to be something of quality of life, or, you know, healing type of factor, especially for a double strike. It's like you've already most likely killed everyone on that flank, or are going to kill everyone on that flank, and this is not really going to help much. An adaptive reload, you get that double strike, you probably might be at that 30%, and now you have a buff for the entire rest of the game. So there's no real point to that. So active reload is the main one that I would pick on this one if you end up going down the green tree. Sniper being the situational one, depending on what ship you have. And adaptive reload, if you really feel like it's necessary, I feel like it's the worst of the 3 skills. Now onto the red tree, we have tactical shooter. This is easy to get. Detect 3 enemies. A lot of people don't realize that you even detect ships again and stuff if they go away, if they disappear and they detect again. So detecting 3 enemies is not even that hard. I would say basically like your Vermont classes are going to have a little bit hard in doing this, but they still might eventually get this. And 3 additional percentage of main battery firing range is awesome. Like, what's not to love about more range? I think that this is a very early and easy skill to talk about. Not really anything much to talk about, since it's just simple. Detect 3 enemies and get more firing range. What's not to love on that one? Now moving on to level 14, we have hide and seek. This is for gunboat DDs and a great pick for even some cruisers and some battleships, but costing 30% of your of your max HP, as I should say, with main battery. You get less detection range. That means for literal some DDs, it's like 4 or 5 salvos into an enemy ship, and you get -3 detection range. That's awesome. Like, that wide, like, yes. Yes, hide and seek is an absolutely amazing one. I would definitely pick this up for your more gunboat DDs. I'd even pick this up maybe even on the Schlieffen if I decided to go that route instead of going frenziness and last stand on it. I probably will go blue tree, but if you wanted to go red tree, you become harder to detect. What's not to love? And it's so easy to do. 30% of your max HP, even on tier 10. That's talking almost like 25-30k worth of damage on most battleships. You're triggering this ability and you're getting better detection range. Yeah, do it. Speed surge. For the few ships that you're doing speed builds on, or even some DDs and light cruisers, this is for you. This is going to be better. To me, this is going to be less about doing damage, but more about, hey, I'm going to be the person that ends up getting that first strike, the second strike, everything like that within the game. A nice little buff on speed and turning after a kill. Yeah, it's there. You know, who wouldn't want to be faster and turn better? Like, that's not a bad idea for a lot of different ships. I would generally say not necessarily for battleships, but for many other ships in general. If you want that, you can pick it up. But now on to Sentry. So, A, trigger 1 capture point. B, get detection range for torpedoes and better fighters. What is this skill? You're warging me. I really want to know. But since not all games are domination, I'm not sure what this skill is really for at all. CVs don't cap until late game, and if they do it in the early game, they're most likely dead after that, so they get sentry and then die immediately. So this skill makes 0 sense. Yeah, the detection range on torpedoes is kind of nice. That could be for some ships, but in my opinion, there's a lot of other things where it's like I'd rather take the detection range or the max ship speed on many of these ships when they are capping a point, so either I can get the crap out or dodge torpedoes better with the turning speed. Like, I'm not really worried about detection range on torpedoes with ships that are going to be getting capture points. That's just me. I think sentry should be basically redone. It really should just be redone. And finally, on to the level 15 red skills. Readiness. 10 torpedo hits isn't all that much, and with the aircraft speed increase and torpedo reload increase, this is great for both CVs and ships with loads of torpedoes in general. If you are a torpboat DD or CV, this is a great one to pick right here. It's just a general buff. I like it. It's simple. Once again, 3% aircraft speed is a pretty nice, substantial buff for most CVs. And yeah, readiness is a good pickup if you're going for that. And I feel like this is one of the more basic level 15 skills that I wish it was a little bit more, but at the same time, I like that it's good where it's at. It's not bad. It's not crazy and like that. Blitz Strike. If you are in a gunboat DD or light cruiser that is gun focused, or like a Conqueror or a Thunderer and happen to go down the red line for this minor set of buffs, I will say this is minor. It really is. It's not a crazy one. Helps. It really does. To me, this doesn't scream level 15 skill. This screams more like a level 14 skill and such, because it's just cause 7 floods or fires, and you get a little bit of shell velocity increase, a little bit of torp speed, and a little bit of bomb penetration. Like, it's a mixed bag of stuff. I don't really love it, but if you can cause fires and floods, that one is there. And if you have torpedoes, you go for readiness. Tormentor. We already talked about this skill off the bat. All of these increases are percentile. So the Tormentor, when you get 2 ship kills, assists, you get a 0.5%, or actually I should say less than 0.5% increase on all of these. Yeah, that's nothing. That's sad. So to me, like, I really can't, it's hard to suggest going down a lot of the red tree unless you're just going for the 13 and 14 skill, and then 15 you'll choose between readiness and blitz strike, because you're going to have to. Because of course, like for me, any ship that chooses tactical shooter and hide and seek, those are just 2 great additions to your ship. Like a little additional range, detection speed, or even you go for speed surge and you go for a little extra speed. What's not to love? Like, that's not bad. But level 15 skills for red are pretty weak on that one. But yeah, readiness is really the only one that I'm like, that's a go-to. Get that one. Blitz Strike and Tormentor. Actually, no, I don't even want to compare Tormentor. Blitz Strike's not a bad one. Tormentor is just complete dog crap. So now that we know the skills and what is good or bad, of course, my opinions, let me know your opinions down below on all of these commander talents and such. Let's go through each branch and why I would go down one or not, and let you know what my opinions are of each one as to why you would want to use them if you do plan on going and investing into this entire thing. I'm kind of hoping for buffs before I even think about investing anything into this. So first of that, Blue Tree. So this is going to be for your traditional battleships and heavy cruisers that will want to go down for this. Last Stand and Protector are really the 2 skills that you are wanting on this one. If you want to be tankier, this is the way to go. I really wouldn't suggest on the light cruisers and the DDs, as I believe there's other trees that make more applicable buffs to them. You could, but minus 2% damage on something like a DD is not as important as it is on battleships or heavy cruisers and stuff. And Last Stand could be helpful, not always applicable, I think, on such low health ships and such. 30% is nice, but at the same time, I don't think it's as nice as, once again, the other buffs that the other ones offer. Now onto the Green Tree. So there's a few criterias that I have here that basically if your ship meets A, B, or C, then I would go down this overall. So skip over Grace Gears because once again, does just basically nothing. But A, does your ship want specialists to occasionally make their amount of ship skills absolutely nuts? Go down green. B, if you generally want better gunnery and reload with the precision strike and active reload and can generally cause fires and floods, go down green. Or C, you can get citadels, then you'd go down green for the awesome sniper and precision strike, potentially armor piercer if you're wanting that, or just running specialist and sniper. Then you got a good mixture of everything, especially for like Pietro. I think specialist and sniper would be perfect for that one, or even precise strike if you want to try to do fires in a Pietro. I really wouldn't suggest it, but you could. You could. So to me, anything that really isn't needing that detection range or range buff in the red, or the protector or last stand in blue, this is where I would put green as. I think green's one of the lesser exciting ones, less applicable ones, but if your ships meet that criteria, I think that green is a good pick to go down, especially for gun-focused light or heavy cruisers, maybe even lighter battleships that are more gun-focused that want that better gunnery and can still cause fires and floods, i.e. Conqueror, Thunderer type of idea. So now we move on to red, and red is pretty much anything that can't be made tankier via blue and wants range and detection buffs overall more than what the green tree offers and doesn't meet the 3 criteria that I gave you. So for red, for me, will be destroyers and light cruisers, potentially even Conqueror, incomparable, maybe, I don't know. But sniper in green would probably be much more fun with the incomparable, now that I think about it. Yeah, either red is very generic. It's realistically, you're going for the level 13 and 14 skills. The level 15 skills will only be applicable if you can cause fires and floods, or you can hit torpedoes with the ship that you're bringing in. To me, it's mostly going to be that firing range and the detection range, along with maybe usage of speed surge. That's where you're going to be going with red. The level 15 skills kind of don't matter as much for the many ships that actually will definitely want tactical shooter and hide and seek to be used. So that's just my opinions on all of the commander talents here. Man, this video took a bit longer than I thought, but hey, it's just kind of how it goes. And before I go, I like the concept working. I mean, I believe it will just need iterations and taken to its fullest. Especially reworking a lot of commander skills. There's a lot of problems with each and every one of these. To me, this is a nice V1.1 to kind of go, hey, we could do something like this, like a tech tree style that actually changes depending on what skills you choose from the previous one, or you choose off the bat one skill that kind of dictates you're going to be more focused on one thing over the other. I like it. I want more last stands. So the level 15 skills should be unique rare skills. So to me, level 13 should be generic. It really should be. It should be the main battery firing range, maybe max traverse speed. You got your brawling, and then maybe even add in another tree that's like, hey, this is your detection, your stealth focused one. The level 13 should be highly generic and such. 14 should be more of a pick a play style within that generic. Are you going to be stealthy and bushy? Are you going to be just stealthy? Are you going to be torpedo stealthy versus gun stealthy, that type of thing? Or with brawling, are you going to be going all out warfare and just straight up, the moment the game starts, you're just roaring? Or are you going to sit back, stuff like that? Grease gears, are you going to be more of a knife fighter versus you're going to be a long range sniper? Choose that. Or even tactical shooter, hey, you're going to be long range, but you're going to be long range fire starting, you're going to be long range AP throwing, everything like that. 14 should be much more a pick a play style, a quality of life buff, not really too much in terms of damage increases. And then 15 should be that play style, even like made perfected, like Last Stand, where it's like, hey, we are brawling, we have used our kits, we have used our heals, and we are almost about dead, but we're gonna rise from the ashes in that last stand. And that's, I love that idea. Oh god, like 15 really should be those unique situations. 15 should not be generic. 13 should be generic. 14 be specialization. 15 be just the play style that you're going to have. That's how I would want them to be, at least in my opinion. So that is all for me. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something from this. Let me know, have you gone up to a level 15 commander, or are you still like me trying to get even a level 13 skill? Because the moment I got my free XP, I immediately just worked on getting other commanders up to 11, because I was just like, most of these skills, they aren't truly worth it, in my opinion. There's a few of them that are good. Once again, 7 of them that I consider good, 5 that are situational. The level of grind kills it for me. So I was just like, screw it, I'm just gonna get a bunch more APCS commanders, and I've been able to enjoy more ships because of that. So that's my how I used mine. So let me know how you used yours. And if you haven't, subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button and don't forget to comment down below if you agree or disagree with me. Let's talk on it all down there. Thank you all so much for the support and for the Patreon supporters and the YouTube membership members. And thank you so much if you want to join them. The join button is down below, or the link for Patreon is down at the Linktree link down below. Join up on Discord as well. It's an absolute blast of time. And I have this document and we can chat about it, everything like that. Discord's an absolute blast. If you haven't joined over there, I definitely would as well. So yeah, let's talk in the comments of how we can improve this, and let's help Wargaming make this a better system. Because once again, concept good, execution not so much. Not so much. Have a great day, everyone. Peace.